Abundance. It is a simple procedure to calculate the number of seeds in an apple. But who among us can ever say how many apples are in a seed? The reason that no one can say how many apples are in a seed is that the answer is infinite, endless. That is what the abundance principle is all about, endlessness. It seems a paradox because we as human forms seem to begin and end at a specified time, and so endlessness is not a part of our experience in form. But it is difficult to imagine that the universe has any boundaries or that it simply ends someplace. If it does, what's at the end and what's on the other side of what's at the end? And so I suggest there is no end to the universe, and there is no end to what you can have for yourself when this principle is part of your life. We have already seen that a large part of who we are as human beings is formless, that this part, thought, is without boundaries. And I conclude from this that we are therefore endless as well. Consequently, abundance, with its absence of limits and boundaries, is the very watchword of the universe. It applies to us as much as it does to everything else in the one song. It is the universe's response to our belief in scarcity. We should be conscious of abundance and prosperity and not make scarcity the cornerstone of our lives. If we have a scarcity mentality, it means that we believe in scarcity, that we evaluate our life in terms of its lacks. If we dwell on scarcity, we are putting energy into what we do not have, and this continues to be our experience of life. The theme of so many people's life story is, I simply do not have enough, or how can I believe in abundance when my children don't have all of the clothes that they need, or I would be a lot happier if I had. People believe they live a life of lack because they are unlucky, instead of recognizing that their belief system is rooted in scarcity thinking. Yet as long as they live with a scarcity mentality, that is what they will attract to their lives. Everything that it would take to eliminate this life situation is already here in the world that we live and breathe in every single day. Where else could it be? The truth is that there is enough to go around. There is an endless universe for us to work in, and we are a part of that endless universe. Once we truly know this, we will see it working for us in thousands of ways. Everyone that I have ever met who moved from a life of scarcity into a life of abundance has discovered how to believe and live this principle. I mean, every single person, including myself. But how do we get rid of a scarcity mentality, transcending a scarcity consciousness? The first step toward discarding a scarcity mentality involves giving thanks for everything that you are and everything that you have. That's right, give thanks, but not in some meaningless charade. Truly appreciate the miracle that you are, the fact that you are alive, that you have eyes, ears, feet, and that you are here right now in this marvelous dream. Make an effort to begin focusing on what you have rather than on what you are missing. Nothing is missing. How could anything be missing in a perfect universe? When you begin to focus on being thankful for all that you have, the water you drink, the sun that warms you, the air you breathe, and everything that is a gift from God, you will be using your thoughts, your entire essence, to dwell on abundance and your humanity. Keep in mind that you are one cell in a body of humanity, and that cell requires harmony within in order to cooperate with the adjacent cells. As you do this, your energy will shift to the miracle of your being here. While you are focused on the miracle that you are and all that surrounds you, you cannot be focused on what you are not and what seems missing from your world. As you practice being thankful, expand the list of things that you are thankful for: friends and family, clothes and food. Any money that you have, all of your possessions, every single thing that has come into your life for you to use while you are here. I mean every single thing, the pencil, the fork, the chair, everything. Begin to focus on how thankful you are to have these things in your life now when you need them. Think of them as yours to use temporarily before sending them back into circulation. Once you have trained yourself to begin the process of being thankful for everyone and everything that comes your way, as well as being appreciative of your very humanity, you're on your way toward eliminating a scarcity mentality. Whatever you focus your thoughts on expands. Read it again. It really is quite logical. Whatever you tend to think about is what you will focus on and create more of. For example, if you have some debts and some principal and your entire focus is on what you have, then you will expand your principal. If your principal is only $500 and your debts are $5,000 and you focus on the money that you have, you will begin to do something with it. Whatever you do with it in a positive way will help it to expand. Conversely, if you focus all of your thoughts on your indebtedness, always reminding yourself how poor you are and making that the locus of your emotional life, that is precisely what you will expand. This is very clear when it comes to minor illnesses. If you focus on your cold, always talking about it, always complaining to everyone you meet about how lousy you feel, you will expand what you focus on. That is, your energy will flow to the cold that you are so proud of. But if you focus on all of you that is not sick, and tell others how great you feel, you will expand wellness. We act upon our thoughts. These thoughts literally become our daily life experience. Consequently, if you spend a great deal of your life energy focusing on scarcity, that is what you are going to expand in your life. I can give you a real-life example of how this works. I have a dear friend named Bobby Branch who lives in Wenatchee, Washington. She is a spectacularly alive, higher consciousness person who is a true joy to be around. In virtually all areas of her life, she has mastered the principles of abundance. Yet in the area of her career, she continually focused on what was missing in her life. Bobby is a very talented singer and songwriter and wanted to produce an album of her songs, but she was convinced she did not have the financial ability. She was operating from a scarcity mentality when it came to money. And this scarcity mentality took over when it came to her performing in front of an audience. She was sure she could not. We talked for several hours one evening about her belief that she would never have an album unless some angel suddenly emerged to provide the funding. I tried to help her see that this belief was the very thing that was keeping her from actualizing her dream of recording her own songs. I invited Bobby to sing her beautiful music at some of my speaking engagements. In spite of her fears, she performed beautifully to standing ovations and began focusing on what she could do rather than what she felt was impossible or difficult. The more she thought about singing in front of an audience, the more that very thing expanded in her life. And after a year or so, she was accepting singing engagements. Then came the big challenge for Bobby to view herself in a prosperity manner. In a phone conversation, she told me that she had finally mustered the courage to inquire how much it would cost to produce an album using one of the finest arrangers and musical directors in the Northwest. The total was more money than she had ever accumulated in her life. I told her to begin focusing her thoughts on prosperity and never to allow a lack thought into her consciousness. She began to get the message. One evening, I received a long-distance phone call from Wenatchee, and Bobby announced, "I've been thinking about nothing else but having that money at my disposal. I never let in a scarcity thought." She then said that she and a friend at work were discussing ways to make it happen. Bobby had said to her friend, "What if I asked 15 of the people I know to invest $1,000 in me and my music? I mean, people who really believe in my singing?" To her delighted astonishment, her friend said, "I would love to invest that in you." And Bobby realized that she was already 1/15 of the way there. In 3 days, she had drawn up investment portfolios and signed up the necessary investors, all of whom invested $1,000 to be repaid within 1 year. She was ecstatic that she had finally overcome her belief in scarcity, for when she focused on abundance, that is precisely what expanded for her. Within 2 months, she had produced her album, Happiness is the Way, with 3 songs on it that were conceived around Akis, the lady about whom I have written a book. Now Bobby is busy promoting her music and happily working at making it a big hit. Focusing on abundance rather than scarcity is paying off handsomely for her. She has repaid almost all of her investors and is in a second run of the album. Her dedication on the album reads, "To my friend Wayne Dyer, I appreciate all you have done to encourage me to dare to risk. All I really ever did was help her focus on what she wanted to expand in her life. The same is true for each of us. To experience anything other than abundance in your life, you actually have to deliberately resist it by focusing on scarcity. When you live and breathe prosperity with a belief that everything is in huge supply and that we are all entitled to have all that we can, you start actively treating yourself and others in this fashion. This principle applies to the acquisition of wealth, personal happiness, health, intellectual pursuits, and everything else. It relates to the ancient biblical promise, "To him that hath shall more be given." It truly works. This universe is an incomprehensibly large enterprise, too big for any of us to begin to comprehend from the perspective of our limited bodies. Abundance reigns everywhere. The only limits we have are those that we encourage with our belief in those limits. You are it all already. You are already whole, already complete. It all already you are. You are not going to get it all. You are it all already. Give this some serious personal consideration. If you are not enjoying your life right now with what you have accumulated, with your current state of health, and in your present job and relationships, you will not appreciate and enjoy new or different life conditions. Our ability to enjoy life comes from how we choose to process life, rather than from externals. Nothing outside of ourselves has the power to bestow happiness or fulfillment on us. What determines the quality of our life is our choice to be fulfilled or not, based upon how we think, how we view ourselves, and our place in the universe. Consequently, if you are a person who needs more in order to feel complete, then you will still feel incomplete when you have acquired more. Thinking in terms of the abundance principle means believing an inner dialogue. I love who I am and what I have attracted to myself up until now. I do not need another thing or even one tiny change in order to be happy or complete. I know in my heart that I am not going to get it all, but that I truly am it all already. The universe is endless. I am the universe, and therefore I am without boundaries. Creating and believing your own affirmations demonstrates your readiness to tune into abundance. There is the story of a man who went to a guru asking for the essentials he needed to have perfect happiness and success for the remainder of his life. The guru left him with nothing, implying that he already had everything that he needed. Happiness and success are inner processes that we bring to life undertakings rather than something we get from out there. When we operate from the principle of scarcity, we generally believe, if only I had something else, then I would have a lock on happiness and success. A close look at this logic shows that what we are really saying is, I am not complete right now. In some way, I lack what I need. When I get that, then I will be complete. If that is our belief, then we are relying on a disabled, incomplete person. This kind of scarcity thinking assumes that we are not yet complete, happy, loving, total human beings, that we do not already have the missing pieces in abundance within ourselves. Thus, we operate from a thinking process of deficiency and end up trapped in the belief that I've got to have more before I can be happy. This is the very thing that keeps us from tuning into the abundance that is everywhere. You are it all already. You already possess exactly what you need for happiness, success, fulfillment, and all of the lofty general goals that so many of us aspire to. If our basic needs are met, and we have food, water, and air, then we have within us the ability to be blissfully happy. As Gandhi said, God comes to the hungry in the form of food. We can value and celebrate the magnificent miracle that we are. We can process everything that comes our way without judgment. Our world is abundant and endless, and how we think about it is totally our choice. Even in a prison, our corner of freedom is still how we choose to think. No one can take that away. Ever. Once we know this, we can relate to abundance as the watchword of our entire existence. Yes, indeed, you are it all. Everything that it takes to have abundance in your life, you already are. Tune your antenna in to making it all work for you.